Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. Today, I feel like touching on standardized testing because just recently, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks ago that I had to take a standardized test. Specifically, the ACT. Now, this video, it's going to kind of sound like I'm bashing on standardized tests, which in reality, I am, because I'm against them. So first off, I guess when you're in elementary school, you take things, well, usually based on your state. So like, Illinois, for example, takes the ISAT. All throughout elementary school, you have to take that. And in other states, it's the same exact thing. I just don't know the names of it in the other states. But going through elementary school, I didn't think about it much. It's just a test. The teachers say it's supposed to determine whether the school gets money or not, so might as well try a little bit on it. You do get pretty much out of school for a day. You don't have to learn anything because you're just taking the test. And you're getting free candy, like mints, gum, all kinds of goodies. So, might as well take it. And then you get older and realize, what was I doing that for? Yeah, it was to get school's money. Yeah, it was to see how much you learned. But it doesn't affect you as directly as they make it seem. You take a standardized test in one school 1 year, and you move on to the next school, a different school the next year, in case moving from like elementary school into junior high. So you're not going to receive those benefits of doing good. But let's get on to the main thing, the ACT. And in some cases, the SAT, depending on where you live. Really, it's not to see how much you know. It's pretty obvious. You have these really strict time requirements that you have to fulfill. Like the math section on the ACT, 60 questions, 60 minutes. So you get a minute a problem. That's not too bad, right? Okay. Let's move on to something like science. You have 40 questions in only 35 minutes. And then the reading, you have to read a bunch of passages, answer questions about them, all in 35 minutes. I forget how many questions there are. I think like 45 or something. But you have to read the passages, or at least skim them so you know what you're answering. You know how to answer. It's not based on smarts at all. It's based on how well you can test. How good are you at answering the right question in the amount of time that you have. How good you are at skimming and scanning an article and answering questions about it. Basic questions that really anybody could answer, given enough time. But that's the thing. You only have an X amount of time, so you have to go fast. Usually when you go faster, you lose accuracy, so already right there, you're doing worse than if you just had as much time as you wanted. So it's not really a smarts test, it's just how well can you fill out the bubble sheet, the answer sheet, within the amount of time that we give you. And some doesn't seem right about that. In terms of the ACT, That little number that you get between 1 and 36 can determine your life, your future. Some colleges, they look at that number. If it's low enough, let's say you want to go to a high-class university. You have the GPA to get in, but if they look at that ACT score and it's, let's say for this example, they want you to have an ACT score of 26 to 31, and you get a 20, yeah, your chances aren't so good then. So your whole future, in most cases, is pretty much being decided by how fast you can answer some simple questions. Well, that's fair to some people. I mean, you can read fast, you can understand things quickly, great. You can do good on this, get a good score, go whatever college you want to. And then you have people like me, and about half of my class. We like to take our time. We like to examine it. As we've been taught in English classes, analyze. Look at the true meaning of the text. So we've been taught to read slow and to appreciate the text as a whole, not just skim, scan, answer questions, get it done as fast as you can. It totally goes against it. So we've been trained like this. Now we're going to be at a disadvantage here. We're going to be the ones running behind on time, having to fill in C for every correct answer at the end of the test because we don't have enough time. We've been taught to read slow and analyze it. Yes, it's easy to overcome it, but once you get into that mindset, it's hard. Trying to think of good words to use here, but at least for me, as I've been trained towards analyzing it, slowing down, reading the entire text, if I'm not doing it, if I'm just skimming over, it's harder to concentrate. And when it's harder to concentrate, I don't get the information that I need to answer the questions at the end. So that's really sucks for me, I guess, in about half the class that I go to school with. But it is what it is. And at this time, we can't do anything about that. Maybe in the future we can get something changed. That's if we get a good ACT score. We go to a nice college and become a politician. But yeah. There's my thoughts on standardized tests. I don't like them. And actually, I've started to do poorly on them. Because, really, I don't care. It's not benefiting me anyway. Like, we have another standardized test that we have to take to show the teachers how they're doing, pretty much. Okay? So we're taking our time out and taking a test to see how good the teachers are doing, and we're not getting anything in return. That's why I don't put much effort into these standardized tests anymore. ACT, yes, I did put more effort than I normally do into just a regular standardized test, but other than that, who cares? It could affect me, but we're taking tests like that, the test to help the teachers out to see if they've done a good job with their curriculum. I don't know. That's just me complaining. So, let's see. What else are we going to talk about today? Well, that's a very good question. doing a project for an AP History class this year. Well, as a class, we did a project on events from, I think it was the 1970s or 80s, up until present. And while doing that project, I came across the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion, and being me, I got interested and couldn't turn away. So upon further reading, well, if you don't know what happened, then I would suggest going on to Google or Bing or whatever search engine you use, searching it up. Just go to Wikipedia, for example. Get all the information there. But I came across this sentence that pretty much accused NASA of being the problem. And I found that pretty interesting because I'd never heard that before. Usually, I just read about, oh, space shuttle exploded, many people died, it was a sad thing, move on. It was, oh, it was just the rocket failed and it blew up. Yeah, that's not telling the whole story. It's telling parts of it, but not the whole thing. See, while I was reading, it said that when it was taking off, there was so much force being exerted on the rocket boosters that the metal that shaped the rocket would bend. And it would bend out and let gases escape. That doesn't sound very good. And it's not. But usually, on previous missions that they had, previous space shuttle launches, there was an O-ring that would seal up the leak, making everything just go fine. Well, NASA decided that we haven't had any problems, so why fix this issue? We have a rocket booster being bent, letting gases out, but the O-ring that isn't supposed to be stopping this leak is doing it anyway, so we're fine, right? Well, that's ultimately what led to the Challenger explosion. That O-ring didn't seal, it didn't do what had happened before, and then chaos happened. We lost the space shuttle, we lost 7 lives then, just because they didn't want to fix a problem that they knew existed. According to the article I was reading, as soon as that happened, as soon as the space shuttle disintegrated and the disaster happened, they knew in Mission Control what happened. They knew it was that O-ring that didn't seal up. So that was just a interesting little piece of history that I learned about. See, you can learn stuff in school. It may be on your own, but you can learn stuff in school. So now, before I end this episode, I want to thank everybody for subscribing and watching the videos that I put up. If you aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that button so you can stay up to date. Thank you for all the comments you guys make in the videos, all the positive comments, and sometimes the negative comments help out too. It helps me make better videos for you guys. So now, again, before I get off, I want to say that if there's any type of video game, well, any type of game in general, preferably on the PC, that you guys maybe want to see some footage of me playing it, just put it in comments, preferably on the Let's Talk videos, but it can be any of them. And I'll see if I can get that game, maybe play it a little bit, see if I like it. Don't forget to ask your questions also in the comments of this video or any of the Let's Talk videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys later.